Well, one thing I learned, never trust a Jersey girl. Welcome to Sporking News Podcast. I am Scott, and welcome to the Dad's Corner. So, let's talk about this episode of Watchmen. You son of a guns. Damn it, I liked it. I watched it. Exhaled Silence, one of my subs. Great channel. Check them out. I liked it, man. I did. This is what I wish the show was about. You know, not all the agenda that they've had. It took 5 episodes to get there, but the opening scene, amazing. It really was. I have to say, so in the opening scene, you got this young group of church kids from Oklahoma, Tulsa, of course, and they're in Jersey, okay? And they get off the bus and they're preaching about the end of days. And the one kid, who I pretty much assumed was Mirrorball, or whatever his name is, turned out to be him, okay? And walked up to these, what we called, where I grew up, Hessians. Some people call them metalheads. We called them Hessians. So walked up to this group of Hessians, and the guys with man buns in the 80s, that did not happen in this realm of Jersey, okay? I know Jersey, and that did not happen in Jersey. So the man bun, sorry, that was a mistake. Okay, those guys would have had a beautiful mullet, or just crazy flowing hair. They would definitely have had a man bun. Let's just get that right. But they smack it out of his hand, and this girl, leave him alone, and grabs him. Cute as hell girl, Jersey girl, don't trust them. Okay, so she brings him into the fun house. They're in the mirror room, and she takes off his shirt, asks if he's a virgin. And he's like, oh, God, I shouldn't do this. And she's like, just let it happen. But, okay, so a girl's going to give you a Hummer, okay? Don't let her take your shirt off. Don't let your clothes get off. I know you're a virgin, dude, but you're in public, and you're letting her take your pants off your feet. Rookie mistake, but he was a virgin, okay? And he's from the heartland, I guess. She gets down, looks like she's about to give him a little, and she steals his clothes and was like, you freaking Bible thumper, or whatever the hell she says. And then all of a sudden you hear like a really loud pitch, and all the mirrors explode. And he's bleeding out of his ears, and he's ringing, and he comes out, and people are just dead. And that girl's on the ground with his clothes, blood pouring out of her ears. It was a great scene. And then you get to finally see the cosmic squid destroyed New York. Okay, so they flashed back to November 1, 1985, or November 2. Well, either or, November 1 or November 2. Sorry if I forgot it. To true fans, my bad. But, the carnage, it was awesome. It was an awesome scene. So I really liked that. And then you flash ahead, and boom, you're back in 2019, Tulsa. And you learn this whole episode's about Mirrorball, and Tim Blake Nelson, who plays him, first of all, awesome actor. Where Brother, Where Out There, or Oh Brother, Where Out There, or whatever that one is. He's awesome. Anything I've seen him in, I've really liked him. I think he's a great actor. And this one focused on him. And it gave us a lot of info. I wish we got this earlier in the season. I guess they wanted you to wait, but I wish we got not just the info, but this style of show. The writing was a lot better. The acting was great. A couple things you knew he was getting, okay, so let's go through it. So he, you see his home life, and he has trauma. He has trauma from that incident. He made it through in Jersey. He was at ground zero pretty much, or ground, 2.2 Hoboken, or wherever the hell it was on the Jersey Shore. So he wears that baseball cap. Well, in the lining of that baseball cap is the same material he wears as Mirrorball. Or is it Mirrorball? But Looking Glass, Mirrorball. I like Mirrorball. So it's the same material. And you find out, he just lives about another attack. That's his whole life. So he has an AA group. I thought that was really cool. As somebody who's in recovery, I thought that was cool that they had a group for people struggling with this, kind of like an Endgame where they had survivor's guilt. This was more of you made it through, but you're still dealing with PTSD, and he ran it, and it was really good. And then they show him driving his little car and switching over to Mirrorball, and then going back home and just leaving on the Mirrorball and eating out of the can, kind of like Rorschach. So it was good, and then all of a sudden an alarm goes off and he's freaking out, goes to his little bomb shelter, and he has his own setup and he's doing like unlimited amounts. They're saying like he calls the company because the thing breaks and he's like, I'm doing it and the thing breaks. And they're like, well, we say every 2 weeks, and he's doing it like hundreds of times, like all the time. So he's stuck in this pain. He's stuck in this powerful moment in his life. This PTSD is crippling. And that's, a massive part of his personality or his story. And we learned none of this prior to this. He's also his real life job. He's a marketing guy, or he works for marketing groups where he watches people behind a looking glass, again, behind a one-way mirror. And he tells them what they're really thinking because, they watch this ad for New York, like, come to New York. It's great. There's no traffic. I'm about to do a New York accent and I haven't done one in a while. Let's try it. Hey, over there, look, you don't have any traffic, something like that. And they're like, oh, everyone marked this a 10, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, they're lying to you. They're lying to you, and nobody from Oklahoma is going to New York. So that was pretty cool. So this is what it's about. We meet his ex-wife. She tells us those pills that he had checked out for Sister Night were nostalgia pills, okay? There's a moment in the police station where she's asking him, did you get the info yet about the pills? No, blah, 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 no. And he gets called in to see the Detective Blake, or excuse me, Agent Blake. Agent Blake had his cactus bugged. She's like, what? We're FBI agents. We bug everything. That was kind of funny. And pretty much says, if you don't tell me, you're ruined. You're ruined. So later on down the road, he sells her out, But so he meets this girl I'm kind of fast forwarding through this. It's just a quick review. I did like this, though. I have to be honest. I wish this isn't me saying I like this show, but this episode I'm giving 8 out of 10. I really am. The rest of the show is like a 4. 8 out of 10. Okay. I felt for him. I really felt for him. Like I felt his pain, his loneliness, his ability not to keep a relationship. Like his ex-wife even said, I spent 7 years trying to prove to you I wasn't going to steal your clothes, leaving you naked. Like, you felt this guy's life was destroyed by that day. So now we're at an AA meeting, or a squid meeting, an SA meeting, psychic squid meeting, PSA, right? So we're at that meeting and there's a pretty girl, and I want to say I've seen her in other shows and I can't think of it off the top of my head, but she is a famous actress. God, she was in something pretty recent in the last decade and pretty well known. If you remember, please comment below because I'm blanking at the moment. So he sees her outside and they start talking, and then all of a sudden they're drinking. They're having some cocktails, telling each other about each other's life. And they say, oh, I got to get a ride. So they go outside and she's smoking a cigarette. He's like, is that real tobacco? And she's like, yeah, it's real tobacco. And it's like, I guess even tobacco is a class, a felony, or it's designated a drug. So we're finding out like cigarettes aren't even allowed now. So, he's really digging her, and she gets picked up by a guy in a truck. Well, it pulls away, and what happens? A thing of lettuce falls out. So he starts following it. And he's calling for backup. He follows them to a warehouse. He calls for backup, gets a response. I knew right there he was screwed. Okay. I knew that it was going to be jammed. Like, I already knew kind of what was about to happen, but I still was like, dude, don't go in there. And I realized that I was like talking to it. Like I was involved. So that was pretty cool. So he goes into the warehouse, and lo and behold, it is like the church that the Rorschachs filmed their thing, because they're like, if we find this church, that's another thing. Agent Blake had a meeting. If we find this church, we find them. So they're searching for this church all over Oklahoma. Well, it turns out it's in a warehouse. They built the church to film in. And, he's just walking, and all of a sudden he found a gun in that truck. And, being an officer, wouldn't you check it? Make sure that it's loaded and everything, whatever. So he goes in, and a basketball falls out of nowhere, like a temporal zone. And he's just amazed by it. after he followed this girl, he saw this. So he follows even more. And he pulls the gun on them, and they're throwing this ball into like this portal, and it keeps dropping in different places. And he's just bugging the hell out. Like, you Rorschachs are trying to bring back a squid. He's freaking out. And all of a sudden, lo and behold, one of them starts talking to me. He's like, "You could take off the mask, Senator." Like, we didn't know he was one of them. So the senator takes off his mask, and he's like, you find out that the senator took over this group after they killed the police officers 3 years ago in the White Night. Okay? He is using this group to push Robert Redford's agenda. So he's explaining this kind of to Mirrorball, like, hey, I can open your eyes. You will never be scared again if you just sit here, or I can send you back, something, something. So he sits down and watches the footage, and it's Adrian Veidt. And Adrian, it's a younger version of him, but still Jeremy Irons talking. This is 1991 or 92, and he filmed it on November 1st, so it must have been November 2nd it happened. But on November 1st, explaining, to Robert Redford, I planned you to be the president. You are now the president, and explains everything. I brought this psychic squid. I made all this happen to make you, to bring peace, blah, blah, blah. And he's just in shock. And the senator says, the only thing I need you to do is take Sister Night, Angela, off the board. Pretty much either for a while or for good. So he goes back to the precinct. He looks at his hat. He's all pissed off that he's been believing this shit. And she asks about the pills, and he says, they're nostalgia pills. Who gave these to you? And she's like, my grandfather. And the bug cactus caught that, and they pull a gun on her. So she grabs the pills and downs them. So now she ate, and people are screaming, you can't take somebody else's memory. So we see in the next episode, she goes into flashbacks, whatever. And he's like, I'm sorry I had to do it. So he leaves after she gets arrested, goes into his house, throws out that that Mirrorball stuff, and you see a van of these Rorschachs pull up with guns, and they walk into his house. So he's probably a dead man, or either he was prepared for it and he takes him out. We don't know. And then you see scenes from next week, and it looks like they're going back to Sister Night, and she's going to be living her grandfather's, memories. For one episode, I really got out of my own head about this show and liked it. Okay, I wish this show was more focused on character building and plot than any agenda that I feel like they're going for. A lot of people don't agree with me about the agenda, but I believe in it. I believe they're doing it. So tell me what you thought about the video. Leave a comment below if you like this. Thank you for watching this one. First off, hit like. Please share, and I've been kind of stuck at the same amount of subs, so if you can help me get over 300, that'd be awesome. So share, sub if you haven't subbed, and thank you. I really appreciate it, and let me know what you felt. So remember, if they're calling you names, they've already lost the war. Have a great day, everybody.